Part 1 left us with a highly fragmented map. The Delhi Sultanate was broken and new centers of power were rising. To fully appreciate the political landscape before the Mughals consolidate their power, we must now shift our focus south. Our next segment dives into the magnificent Vijayanagar Empire that fiercely resisted the northern sultanates and flourished as one of the world's great metropolises before a final, decisive battle changed the Deccan map forever. Take a look at the capital city, Vijayanagar, modern day Hampi. Foreign travelers described it as being as large as Rome. The wealth funded incredible architecture, the magnificent empire, through established decades earlier, truly reached its peak in the 16th century under its most celebrated ruler, Krishna Dev Rai. He was both a military genius who kept the rival Deccan sultanates in check and a great patron of the arts. He himself wrote on royal policy, emphasizing the importance of a well-administered state. Look closely at the Vitthal temple, finely sculpted monolithic pillars famous as musical pillars give out different musical notes when struck. This detail shows the incredible architectural and engineering skill of the time. How did this golden age end? Tragically, the Deccan Sultanates eventually formed a powerful coalition and crushed Vijayanagar at the Battle of Talikota in 1565. The city was destroyed and the great empire fractured. The Mughal Empire from 1526 to 1707. This timeline highlighting 1526 as First Battle of Panipat. Back in the north, in 1526, the game changer arrived, Babur. He defeated the Lodi Sultan at the First Battle of Panipat and founded the Mughal Empire. Painting of the Battle of Panipat with clear depiction of cannons and artillery. Babur's secret was gunpowder and field artillery, a technology that shattered the old style of warfare in India. The empire was truly consolidated by his grandson, Akbar. Unlike the Delhi Sultans, Akbar recognized that military conquest was not enough. His genius was political strategy. This is a Mughal miniature of Akbar's court receiving scholars. He forged alliances with Rajput rulers, abolished the discriminatory jizya tax, and promoted his doctrine of Sulh-e-Kul or peace with all. This policy of religious tolerance secured the loyalty of the vast majority of the population and allowed the empire to flourish economically and culturally. Now, for the decline, Aurangzeb took the throne in 1658. After a bloody succession struggle, he pushed the empire to its greatest geographical extent, but this came at a huge cost. Aurangzeb spent his last 25 years fighting costly wars in the Deccan, straining the treasury, and crucially, he reversed Akbar's policies, reinstating the jizya and ordering the destructions of temples. Akbar's long reign from 1556 to 1605 established the zenith of art and architectures for the Mughals. Shah Jahan, his grandson, would later build the Taj Mahal, but the foundation of this immense flowering of classical arts, music, and painting was laid during this period. Mewad's ruler, Maharana Pratap, refused to accept Mughal suzerainty and became the face of Rajput resistance. A confrontation took place at the Haldighati Pass in the Aravallis in 1576. During both the Sultanate and the Mughal periods, the Ahom rulers offered stiff resistance to attempts at expansion into the northeast. Their unique pike system called on every able-bodied man to provide service to the state through labor or military duty in exchange for land rights. This allowed the rulers to create public infrastructure and maintain a large standing force without a permanent army. The Sikh faith, founded by Guru Nanak in 15th century Punjab on the principles of equality, compassion, and the oneness of God, Ik Onkar, evolved significantly due to growing intolerance from the Mughal Empire. When Emperor Jahangir had Guru Arjan tortured to death, his son, Guru Har Gobind, began martial training for the community. Later, in 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur was publicly executed by Aurangzeb for defending religious freedom. In response, his son, the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, established the Khalsa, a devoted martial brotherhood committed to justice and the defense of the faith, which led to numerous and costly clashes with the Mughal forces. The administration of Delhi Sultanate was organized around the Sultan, who wielded absolute political and military power, assisted by a council of ministers. A core element of this system was the Ikta system, which assigned territories to nobles, Iktadars, to collect taxes needed to fund the army and the Sultan's treasury. This system created a network of loyal, non-hereditary local administrators. Though trade was taxed, the heaviest financial burden, often extracted with considerable cruelty, fell most severely on the peasantry. Despite political changes from 13th to 17th century, India remained a wealthy global power, fueled by robust agrarian production and extensive trade. The economy was structured by decentralized systems like merchant guilds and the Hundi credit network, which supported flourishing industries, particularly textiles. Rulers relied on heavy land revenue extracted from the peasantry. Ports like Surat ensured India's exports consistently outweighed imports, securing its status as a major trade hub. We have witnessed 3 centuries of political evolution: the unstable, fragmented power of the Delhi Sultanate, the magnificent resisting culture of the Vijayanagar, and the strategically consolidated yet ultimately overextended Mughal Empire. The map of India was constantly being reshaped by the interaction of external invaders and internal resistance. This instability forced both the rulers to adapt their strategies and the people to find new ways to live, trade, and survive. The stage is now set for the 18th century, where a fractured Mughal state gives rise to powerful successor states, and new external forces arrive by sea. So, after understanding the frequent reshaping of India's political map, here is an interesting homework for you. Create a journal from the perspective of a fictional traveler who moves across the Indian subcontinent between the 13th century and 17th centuries, recording how different dynasties and conflicts reshaped the region. Thank you.